Okay, for this lesson, we're going to talk about distance and displacement, which is a very, very easy concept, but also very important concept. Distance is the total amount of movement you do. It's the total amount. Whereas displacement only looks at how far you are from the very beginning to the very end. Okay, it doesn't take into account the entire journey. It only looks at how far from the beginning point to the ending point and in what direction that is. Distance doesn't care about direction. Distance just cares how far totally did you move. So let's look at an example. Let's pretend you went 50 miles, 50 miles to the left. Then you decided to turn around. Okay, you make a U-turn and you go back about 30 miles. So, the question is, what would be your distance and your displacement? Some of you probably already figured it out by now, which good. For those who don't get it yet, pretty simple. Watch. Your distance is the total amount of movement. You went 50 miles to the left, then you turn around and went 30 miles. So your total distance you walked or drove, I would hope you drove, would be 80 miles. That's the total amount. However, your displacement only matters from the beginning point to the ending point. So I'm going to do that in red. You started right here. Okay, here's 0. Boom, 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 boom. Make that 0. Here's 0. You started here and you ended here. So from here to here, how far is that and what direction is that? Well, that's only 20 miles, and that is left of where you went. Now, sometimes we would say west. You could say west because that's the westerly direction. Sometimes you would say along the negative x-axis because if it was like an axis, you have your positive y, your positive x, your negative y, your negative x. And this would be along the negative x. So there's many different ways of saying this, but let's just say left and right for this example. So your displacement would be 20 miles to the left. So again, distance covers the entire journey. You went 50 miles and you went 30 more miles. That's 80 miles total. Displacement only cares from the very beginning to the very end and in what direction you are from where you left off. Another example of this would be, let's just say you took a run around the block. So you went one block up. Call that one block. Then you went right one block. Then you went down one block. Then you went to the left one block. So you stopped right here. Well, your distance is the total journey. So a total journey would be 4 blocks. You ran 4 blocks. But your displacement, on the other hand, this is kind of hard to write with this thing. Displacement is from beginning to ending point. Well, here's the crazy part. You stopped exactly where you started. If you stop exactly where you started, your displacement is 0. So distance-wise, you've moved 4 blocks. Displacement-wise, you didn't move at all. So that's what's kind of crazy between the two of them, distance and displacement. Again, distance is the total journey, whereas displacement only cares about how far from the starting point are you from the ending point. In this case, it's 0. Let's do one more example. Let's pretend you went, well, I'm going to erase that one. There we go. Let's pretend, let's see if I can get this. You went, nope. I wish I was using the smartboard. It'd be so much easier. let's pretend you went, okay, heck with it. 5 miles east. You took a break and you went another 5 miles east. Your distance, does not even look like an E. Your distance, so what's the total distance you went? Good, 10 miles. You went 10 miles. Your displacement, in this case, how far from the ending point, beginning point to the ending point are you? Well, that would be 10, also 10 miles. And I said east, so I say east. So the reason I showed you this one is I want you to look at something that's pretty important. Notice displacement is always either equal to or less than the distance. Your displacement will never, ever be bigger than distance, ever. Displacement will never be bigger than distance. Displacement can only be equal to or less than the distance. Your distance can be equal or greater than displacement. So again, just repeat that. Displacement can only be equal to, like it is here, or less than distance. So just an example. So that's the difference between distance and displacement. Again, distance, total journey. Displacement, you only care about how far you are from the very beginning to the very end and in what direction that is.